Hi everyone, Jonas here. I have lately been thinking a lot about how to make a difference with what we do. And if you followed Rob and I in the past, you probably know about our biology background and how we want to use filmmaking and photography to try and protect nature and conserve biodiversity. Now, if you had asked me 10 years ago what equipment and setup to use to have the greatest chances of a good impact with your film, I probably would have said something that good equipment and good setup, like light setup like this and a professional camera, would definitely increase your chances of having a good and better reach to a larger audience.
And that anything shot on a phone with questionable audio quality and poor lighting would only really take you so far.
Today though, I'm not so sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely like the look and feel of good equipment, beautiful shots and a big production.
But when it comes to reach and having an impact to a specific audience, this, if used right and planned well, may possibly be even better. Oh man, it shouldn't be illegal to have flights this early. So here are some simple tips and tricks on things to think about shooting stories only using a phone. First, we must probably understand what we are dealing with here and its limitations, because you're obviously not going to go out and make any big productions with just the phone. But with that said, the camera is pretty impressive. Take this iPhone X as an example. By default, it is set to shooting 1080p at 30 frames per second. But if you go into settings, scroll down to camera and open record video, we can see that we have an option of turning this into a 4K camera shooting 60 frames per second. Note that this is only for the back-facing camera and not the selfie camera. So if you want to shoot highest possible resolution, you have to shoot with the back camera. And there are some big films that have shot part of their footage using phones. For example, the documentary Searching for Sugar Man that won an Oscar in 2013. But I still believe that the real power of phone filmmaking is as a lifestyle vlogging type of camera. These are perfect habitats for mosquito larvae to develop, and as a way to super quickly be able to document any action that happens around you. Now, let's look at some things to remember. Let's start with how to hold the camera. This may sound basic, but if you're used to shooting selfies with the phone, you're used to shooting it vertically a lot of times, and vertical video only really has its place in social media platforms like Insta Stories. Because if I was to take a vertical video like this and actually put it into a timeline and then edit it into my video, it would look kind of terrible. And if I was to try and stretch it out so that I could actually fill the whole frame, I would lose a lot of information and a lot of resolution. So I highly recommend that you get used to shooting with the phone horizontally instead, because that will look a lot better on any other screen than some social media platforms. Next thing to also think about is audio. I am sure anyone who has ever shot video on a phone has experienced this background noise from, for example, wind. And the only decent way to get around this issue is to buy a separate microphone similar to what you would use for other cameras. But there are also wind blockers such as this one that you can buy that clips onto your phone. The only other thing to recommend here is that if you record important audio, move away from loud background noises or windy areas. Record your clip and then listen to it right away to make sure it is usable. Don't run the risk of discovering the issue after you get home and try to edit the video. The second audio issue I see a lot is accidentally covering up the microphone when holding it sideways. To sum things up, if you shoot with the phone alone and no extra microphone, you need to be close enough for the phone to pick up good audio, you need to move away from distracting background noise, and you need to keep the microphone unblocked, except maybe a wind protector of some sort. A little windy, so I'm gonna put the phone in my hat here. If there was one accessory I would recommend getting for the phone, it would be some kind of tripod. I didn't want this video to be accessory heavy, so I picked up the cheapest one I could find, about $5, just to show that anything is better than nothing. And I say skip the selfie stick and go for a tripod. So many more uses, and you can hold it out like a stick, which help keeps the microphone unblocked. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed those simple tips and tricks on how to get started telling stories only using your phone. Rob and I actually both do workshops with scientists in the field on this topic and with students in the classroom, and you should see some of the videos that these guys come up with. It's actually pretty amazing. I want to thank you all for watching the video, and especially a big thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. We really appreciate your help supporting the work that we do, and stay tuned for more videos coming out very soon.
Hit it, boys.